Today we're going to be breaking down sun salutations because that's what the basis of our practice is going to be going forward. So first off, just find a comfy seat, maybe cross-legged or sitting on a bolster or pillow, and just elongate your spine. Start to notice how you're feeling today. Notice if your breath comes with ease. Or if you can relax into your breath a little bit more. Take one deep breath in and out. And on your next inhale, roll over your knees and into a tabletop position. Your shoulders are stacked over your wrists, and your hips are stacked over your knees. Breathe here with a neutral spine. Noticing if you can rotate your elbows a little bit forward. We're going to flow through some cat-cows. So on the inhale, you'll drop your belly and lift your gaze for cow pose. And on the exhale, rounding your spine, chin to chest, cat. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, nice and slow. Exhaling round. Inhale, lift your gaze, drop your belly, push the ground away. Exhale. 2 more times. Inhale, drop the belly, lift your gaze. Exhale. Spine to the sky. 1 more. Inhale. And let it all out for the exhale. Let's find a neutral spine here. Go ahead and spread your fingers nice and wide. Curl your toes underneath. Send your hips high for a downward facing dog. Your chin goes to your chest. Your legs and arms are straight. And you're sending your heels down towards the mat. It's okay if they don't touch today. Maybe bend in your right leg. And then in your left leg. Good. Just go back and forth, feeling your body. Noticing how that down dog feels today. On your next inhale, take a look at your fingertips and tiptoe up to meet them. Nice and slow. With your fingers just above your feet on your ankles, inhale, halfway lift. Nice flat back. And exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms nice and high. And then bring your hands to heart center. Before we do a full vinyasa, we're going to do a half vinyasa first. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead, gaze at your fingertips. And exhale, fold, hinging at the hips. Generous bend in the knees if you need to today. We're just going to hang here for just a second, maybe grab opposite elbows. And allow your spine to release. Release your hands. Once again, inhale, halfway lift, flat back, chin is up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach all the way up. Fingertips and gaze to the sky. And relax down with your hands at heart center. Now we're going to start sun salutations. But what we're going to do is we're going to break them down and start at the most basic level for the first few. We're going to build upon that until we get to a full or almost full sun salutation. We'll use these to warm up the body so that we can find strength and flexibility later on in our practice. So let's start off by noticing our toes. Let's lift them up, spread them apart, and set them back down one by one. Lift your knees by activating the front of your thighs. Curl your tailbone under if it isn't already. Suck your belly in, elongate through the spine, roll your shoulders down your back. And we're extending up through the crown of our head, nice and tall. Let's begin. Go ahead and inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold, hinge at the hips, reaching for the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, plant your hands on the mat and step back into a high plank position. As you can see, Tucker's knees are lifted. We're going to go ahead and start off with dropping our knees for the first few rounds. But notice that he still has a complete ray of energy from his knees all the way out through the crown of his head. Go ahead and lower down all the way to the mat, nice and slow, with your elbows glued to your sides. Beautiful. Bring your forearms to the mat so that your elbows are just underneath your shoulders. Inhale and lift your chest up for Sphinx pose. Breathing into the back, being sure not to dump into the low back by activating your lower abs. Breathe here for a few more breaths, pushing into the mat. Go ahead and lower down. Bring your hands right underneath your shoulders next to your breastbone. And still on your knees, if you'd like to today, go ahead and push back up to our high plank. And then flip your toes underneath for downward facing dog. Send your hips nice and high. And breathe here. Take a look at your fingertips. And tiptoe up to meet them at the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach all the way up. Gazing at the fingertips, elongating through the spine. And exhale, hands at heart center. Your first sun salutation is complete. Congratulations. We're going to do that a few more times. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold, reaching for the ground, releasing your spine. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands and step back to a high plank to begin with. Option to drop to your knees at this point. And then we're going to again lower down all the way to the mat. Elbows glued to the side. Beautiful. For baby cobra, our hands are going to lift up off the mat. We're going to press into the mat with our knees, with our thighs. And we're lifting our chest up off the mat. Breathe here. And relax back down. One more time, we're going to do that. Your legs are pressing into the mat, all the way down to your feet. And inhale, lift your chest up. And exhale, come down. Push back up to high plank. And then to downward facing dog. Three breaths here. Inhale, look at your feet, your hands. And step your right foot up to meet them, and then your left. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach nice and high. Completing that sun salutation with a gaze up at the sky and hands back down. All right, let's do that again. You guys are getting good at it now. Inhale, reach your hands nice and high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reaching up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step back, high plank. This time what I want you to do, option to drop down to your knees here, but we're just going to lower down halfway with our elbows bent by our sides, almost like a push-up. So on the next exhale, lower down halfway. Inhale, drop your legs down all the way to the mat. Arms are nice and straight for cobra pose. Maybe move your head side to side, being sure not to dump into the low spine. And then on your next exhale, flip your feet over, downward facing dog. Step your left foot up to meet your right foot. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Sweep your arms up and overhead. Let's do a slight back bend here, gazing at your fingertips, lifting through your chest. Back up to center. On your next exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step back to a high plank. Arms glued at your side, lower down halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, flip over your toes, straighten your arms. Your legs are lifted up off the mat for upward facing dog. Breathe here. And exhale, flip through over your toes. Downward facing dog. Go ahead and step or tiptoe up to the top of your mat, whichever you prefer today. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reaching all the way up. Hands at heart center. Beautiful. We're going to do that one last time. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Plant your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, chin up. Exhale, folds, plant your hands, step back, high plank, nice and strong through the belly, shoulders, and out through the crown of your head. With your elbows glued to your side, lower down just halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog, flipping over your toes. Only the bottom of your hands and the tops of your feet are touching the mat here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Notice what it feels like to bend in one leg now versus at the beginning of our practice, and then in the other leg. And just for a little bit of strength exercise today, I'm going to have you shift forward into a plank pose from your down dog. Wonderful. Notice what it feels like to shift forward onto the tips of your toes and then back. One more time, shift forward and then back. Send your hips high, downward facing dog. We're going to do that one more time. Shift forward to plank. Pressing the ground away, hardening through your abs, shift forward and back. And shift forward and back one more time. Hips high, downward facing dog. Go ahead and drop your knees to the mat. We're going to move into child's pose, so our big toes need to touch behind us. Your knees can either be close together for more of a low back stretch, or you can open them wide for a hip stretch. It's up to you. But then you're going to send your glutes back on top of your heels. Your arms are stretched out long. Your forehead's on the mat. Child's pose is a great option for if you ever need to ground during your practice. If you're feeling lightheaded ever or overwhelmed, you can always find child's pose. And it gets a bad rap because people think you're being lazy. But really you are honoring what serves you and honoring your body, which is the most important part of yoga. Thank you for sharing your practice with us today. We'll have another video up next week. And in our future videos, we will be covering sun salutations in the beginning of the practice and then moving into a more detailed body-oriented practice, focusing on different body parts, stretching, relaxing, finding strength and balance. Have a great rest of your day. Namaste.